Can't get this at Cartier's. Hi, welcome to another video. Today we're going to make these really fun wearable floral jewelry pieces. Hi, my name is Katherine Bergman. I'm a florist with over 30 years experience designing weddings events, sharing all things floral with you. We're going to do these whimsical and beautiful pieces. You ready to make something gorgeous together? Let's get started. So the materials you're going to need for these floral jewelry projects are actually pretty simple and easy to find. Now, you're going to need to buy some kind of flowers. Orchids and other things that last out of water are wonderful for this project. Succulents, orchids, roses, carnations, all can work. Stephanotis, and this flower here called Star of Bethlehem is also something I'm going to be using today. And the mechanics you need are pretty basic. You definitely need a tube of this Oasis floral adhesive. Don't try to hot glue these. You have to use this floral adhesive. Tweezers, something to cut your stems with, and a work surface. I put down a dollar store party tablecloth to protect my dining table, and this plate so that you can work on it. And for the jewelry itself, I bought inexpensive jewelry pieces like this from Shein. None of the pieces I'm going to show you today is over $5, so they're very inexpensive and it gives you a base for your jewelry. Now, I know you can make these with bind wire and twist it into all sorts of shapes, but I thought, why do that when you could buy something like this for $4? And I thought this little pearl is pretty cool. So for this first project, we're going to do these beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids in this orchidy pink color and these little white florets of Star of Bethlehem. And these are the two floral materials. And then I have some greenery that I cut. I have some gardenia foliage from the garden, as well as some Italian ruscus leaves. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn this necklace to the back side to glue on a base. So basically you want to create a base with foliage. So I'm going to glue this leaf on the back here. You're not going to see much of the leaf, but it's going to create a nice base for your orchids. So we're going to go ahead and turn this backwards. I'm going to cut the little tip off of the gardenia foliage, and we're going to use some of this glue. Oasis Floral Glue is like a miracle product. It sticks wonderfully. It's indispensable if you want to make floral jewelry like this, or corsages, or anything like that. So I'm gluing a gardenia leaf to the back of this. I'm going to turn around and take a look at it. Well, actually, I did it backwards. I want it this way. Fortunately, I can still turn it. So I'm just putting that here. Just kind of hold on to it, let it, it sticks pretty much instantly, but still you might want to, hold on to it a little bit. And then I'm going to add a sprig of Italian ruscus. Now, I'm sure you've seen Italian ruscus in these long garland-like lines. These are just the foliage that we cut from that long strip. Wonderful for corsages and boutonnieres. It lasts for days out of water, and I just like that. It has these little spiky leaves that are so pretty. Okay, I kind of glued it onto the gardenia. Then I'm going to add a dollop of glue here. Another reason I chose this particular necklace for this project is it's got this kind of interesting spiral of metal here that is a great support for your flowers. I'm just going to glue the Phalaenopsis orchid on here. I'm going to do the same on this side here. Just put some glue on the structure itself. Also add some to the back of the orchid. And this is just from an orchid plant. You could just pick off the blossoms to use. And we got the basic one here done. I'm going to add a gardenia foliage over here as a base for our little flowers, because there's no structure on the side, just kind of a skinny, line. So I'm adding some glue to the front of the gardenia foliage. I'm going to glue to here. To hold it in place. I'm going to add a ruscus on top here for a little bit of interesting sort of leaf work here. I'm going to hold that down with a tweezer because I don't want to get glue all over my hands. Usually when I work with this glue, I would wear gloves, but this is so intricate that I feel like if I wore gloves, it'd be harder to do this. Okay, it's somewhat holding. We're going to add some of these little white Star of Bethlehem florets to this. I'm going to add the glue to the floret itself, the back of it, and put it on here. Take the stems all the way off so that you have a nice flat little bottom here, little back to add your little flowers. Okay. Guess this is where I should be using my tweezers, right? I'm going to add a trio of little flowers on this side. And then I'm going to take a look at what I have and see if I want to add some white florets to this side. I think I do. For some continuity, I think having a little bit of the white florets here would make sense. So what I did is sort of compose how I want this on the plate before I glued everything down. I was kind of playing around with this morning before I started the video, so I have at least some idea of what we're going to be doing, right? So you might want to do that before you start bringing out the glue. Just kind of play around with it and see what your composition is going to be. This is obviously a very asymmetrical composition. Beautiful. It has that little pearl coming out of it, which I think is really pretty. And then we got this here, little leaf. I might add a little ruscus leaf here at the end, like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Just so we don't have like a blunt end there. I do have the gardenia foliage there, but I thought maybe, I don't know, what do you think? Would that make it too big? Might be too big. Maybe I'll hold off on that. Okay, and that's the first one. I'm going to let it dry a little bit before I lift it up to show you. I'm going to move on to the second one, which is going to be a companion piece to this one. So the second project is actually a companion piece to the necklace. It's a bracelet. I thought this was really pretty. I think it was like $2. I mean, I'd wear this, right? Kind of cute, like a pearl bracelet, and it's asymmetrical, and you can adjust it. I have skinny wrists, so I can adjust it smaller. Anyway, I thought, okay, what can we use on here? I don't want a big, bulky orchid on here. I want it to be, a little more subtle and easier. And I was playing around, and I thought, I put the leaf here. And I go, oh my gosh, just the leaf with these little pearls is gorgeous. Doesn't it make it look instantly like Lily of the Valley or something? So I was playing around with this, and I thought, okay, we'll definitely do the leaf. And then we'll glue the leaf as a background here. And then we might add a few of these little florets here, maybe just one or two, and that way it will match our necklace. So that's all we're going to do here. We're going to glue this Italian ruscus leaf on the back here of the pearls, and the pearls will be on the leaf, and it all of a sudden looks like a little strand of Lily of the Valley or something like that. I'm obsessed with making Lily of the Valley jewelry, but it's just impossible to work with. And I don't have any Lily of the Valley, and it's very hard to even purchase at the flower market. So I'm not going to use Lily of the Valley. So I'm going to apply some glue to the bracelet itself. It's a little bit messy, but you can always go back after it dries and pick off the dried glue. Then I'm going to turn it around and press the foliage to the stem of the bracelet. Cut any stems off that are poking out. Just kind of hold it. And I see a little bit of glue visible. I might just use that glue that's visible to attach a little stem, a little floret here. See, that's all I'm going to do, something really simple like this. And it's dainty and easy to wear. I'm going to do the same on this side with just the leaf. You know, I'm going to add the glue to the stem here. Maybe a little less glue so it doesn't drip down so much. It's kind of hard to control this glue. But I'm just going to kind of drag it along the stem. Because we're not trying to glue anything super heavy duty. I'm going to add the leaf on here. I think I'm just going to have to resolve to get a lot of glue on my hands. I'm trying to hold this really gingerly and not get glue on my hands, but oh well. I can wash it off. Okay, I'm going to cut this stem over here off. I think it's too long. Cut this leaf off with it. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and add one of our little Star of Bethlehem florets. This is an indestructible little flower. So I wasn't sure how well it'll last out of water. So all I did was pick a couple of these florets and just put it on my table. And it lasted like this. It looked like this for 3 days without any water. So I'm like, this is a wonderful candidate for this little jewelry making thing that we're doing. So here we have our little bracelet all done. Super easy, super cute. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and move on to our third project. I will show you all these finished and displayed on a display stand when they're dried from the glue. So moving on to our next project, which is going to be a wrist corsage. So this is something I bought that I'm going to start buying for wrist corsages. So much easier than the things that they sell as florist corsage bases. They come in silver or gold. I bought the silver. It's just a bangle, but look at all these really great lines. That's lots of material for us to glue onto. So I think this is going to be a wonderful base for a wrist corsage. So I thought it'd be fun to make a succulent corsage. My good friend Chong has a lot of beautiful succulents in her garden. So she gave me some of these beautiful peachy green succulents. I love this color. And I picked some hellebore from my garden that's pretty much done. And they last forever when they're like this. I like that green with it, as well as some little teeny tiny roses. This is the pink fairy rose, and this is a little rosette from a seafoam rose, as well as some Dusty Miller. That's going to be our greenery background. First, I'm going to glue some Dusty Miller as a background onto our bangle here. This is going to be easy, right? So I'm going to add some glue to the Dusty Miller. Now, this glue is wonderful, but it's also messy and kind of hard to use. I keep some plastic or cellophane next to me, or a piece of foil, anything, just to kind of pick off like the stuff that comes out of it, and just kind of keep it there. Keep it next to you so you can clean your nozzle, because the nozzle will get very clogged if you don't clean it every now and then. So just have some plastic or a piece of foil next to you to clean the nozzle. So I'm going to add a piece of Dusty Miller on our bangle. And this one's great because I don't need to worry about creating a base for the flowers, because there's so many strands of metal it's got a nice base already. So when you're gluing flowers onto things, it's always important to create a base. We use the glue to make flower crowns so that you don't have so much wire. I did a video about that. So you can learn to make flower crowns for flower girls. Kind of made a mess, but that's okay. We're going to cover most of this. Just using this as a base. It's Dusty Miller. And add another strand of this Dusty Miller. Cut the extra stem off. Okay, now we're going to add one of our hellebore. I was thinking of the hellebore sort of as a background flower, kind of almost behind the beautiful succulents. I love this pale green color. Adding glue to the hellebore. Then we're going to add our succulents. The succulents are not as flat as our other flowers, so it's going to stick out a little bit, but I'll teach you how to build the layers around it so it doesn't stick out too much. Okay, add another succulent to this. Add another hellebore. See how I'm using the hellebore almost as a base for the succulents? One more little succulent. Cut the stem off. Add our succulent, our third succulent. So we have a pretty rosette shape in the middle of the little bracelet here. Okay, now I thought it would be fun to add a little color. So I'm not sure. I like this pale blush with it. I think it's very pretty. And maybe a little bit of these little buds, little pale pink buds. That's kind of pretty too. So I think we'll go ahead and add some of these little roses. This is Seafoam Rose, which is a beautiful landscape rose that I'm growing for the first time. And it blooms, when it starts to bloom, it's this beautiful pale pinky white, this blush color that I think is going to be very pretty with our little succulents. So we've got that over here. Sometimes it's easier to just put a little dollop of glue and dip your stems in there. Got one on this side, one on that side. Okay. And then maybe we add some of these tiny little pink fairy roses as an accent here and there. And then there's the tiniest little flower buds from the fairy rose that I'm going to add here. does it look? Looks pretty good. I love the colors, so pretty. And here is our succulent wrist corsage on a bangle. Sort of modern take on the old-fashioned corsage. Moving on to our next project. This one I'm going to be using green succulents, little mini green succulents, the tiniest little carnations. This is from a plant I bought recently from Home Depot. So cute. It is a miniature dianthus or carnation. Look at these pretty little pink flowers. I'm going to grow this in the garden, and the little florets I thought were so charming. So I picked a few to use with our green flowers. We have a green hellebore, and these are orchid tips. This was a little mini orchid that was fuchsia and white, and most of the blossoms have fallen off. We just have the little tips, so I cut it off, and I thought I'd use it in this really pretty necklace we're going to make. And I have some gardenia foliage and some ruscus foliage, so I'm just going to play. So for the base of this, we have a choker looking necklace that has a lot of body to it, kind of like our bangle we just did. So I thought this would be easy to glue things onto, right? So I'm going to glue these elements onto this this beautiful choker. Once again, I'm going to start with making sort of a foliage base with gardenia foliage. I'm putting the glue on top of the gardenia foliage because I'm going to glue this behind our necklace like this. I'm going to do another one here to create a base. Okay, here's our base that I'm creating. And then I'm going to add this hellebore. Oh, I was going to add some foliage before I add the flowers. I'm going to add some of this ruscus. Just going to put some glue on the choker itself. Add the foliage on here. Okay, then I'm going to add our hellebore on top right here. Then I'm going to add our succulents. Sometimes if there's still residual glue on there or there's extra glue, I don't add any glue. But I think I need to add a little bit of glue on this. Okay. Another of these mini succulents on here. Third one. So I sort of have my succulents added in here. I have a little tiny mini one I'm going to add on this side over here. Then I want to add these orchids buds. Trying to figure out how I want to add this in here. What I want to do with these leaves. I'm going to add a leaf on this other side here to balance out the leaf we have on the left side. Going to add this down here. I'm going to add the orchid bud down here so we have a pointed necklace. Then we have one more orchid bud. Maybe I'll add on that left side here. Okay, mostly done. We have a lot of green, so I thought this little pop of fuchsia would be so pretty with this. So we're going to add in our little teeny tiny pixie dianthus. See how that pop of fuchsia looks so great with the green? Just kind of add it here and there, pop of color. I think this might be my very favorite one of the ones we made so far. When you're adding lots of these little ones, I just squirt some glue on that piece of plastic and just dip the flowers in there. I think that's the easiest way to add them in. One last one. We've got a beautiful succulent necklace with miniature dianthus. Almost done. I have only one more left, and that's a super simple one. So this last one is this really pretty leaf necklace. That's already a beautiful botanical. I was thinking, what can I add to here, or do I do nothing and just kind of leave it? I thought, okay, we can add the little orchids and greenery again, but maybe just on one side so it's asymmetrical and you can still see the beautiful leaf pattern. So I'm going to just add it on this side and leave this side gold and not overdo it. Just a little tiny bit. Super easy one. This is a pretty piece of jewelry even without the flowers, right? I thought it'd be fun to add something to it, right? So just a little tiny bit. Once again, we're using the miniature orchids. All this came from one little mini orchid plant. Get a lot out of it. I think it'd be very fun to make these and have people, and people will comment on it. If you wore this to a cocktail party or something, I think a lot of people are going to ask you about your jewelry. Okay, and that's it. We're just going to do a couple orchids on here, maybe 3, I don't know. Do you think 2 looks too sad by itself? Maybe I'll do a 3rd one here. Add a little more greenery to the side. Kind of an asymmetrical design, which you guys know I like in flower design. And that's it, just on one side. Better than anything you can find at Tiffany's. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really had a good time making these, and I think I will make one for myself next time I'm invited to a cocktail party. It's going to be quite a topic of conversation. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe and click the little bell to be notified when I put out a new video. For those of you who join me every week, leave me a comment below to let me know which of these you like best. As always, go out and buy some flowers and treat yourself this week. Flowers are nature's little luxury, and I will see you in my next video.